Siyanamukela ohlelweni lwe-Ithala Edu platform enilethulelwa ngezilokotho ezinhle Ithala kanye ne-GoDigitalSA Foundation. Thamelani izifundo ze-mathematics, i-accounting, isiZulu ulimi lwasekhaya, isiNgisi, i-FAL, i-physical science, i-geography, ezobuchwepheshe, i-computer applications technology kanye namaklasi e-learner wellness okungukuzilolonga ngokomqondo kanye nomzimba. Lezi zifundo zethulwa nsuku zonke kusukela ngoMsombuluko kuya ngoLwesihlanu kuqala ngehora lesine kuya kwelesihlanu u4 kuya ku5 ntambama nangomgqibelo kusukela ligamanxe ihora lesishiyagalombili 8:30 kuze kugamanxe ihora lokuqala emini 1:30. Zithameleni futhi lezi zifundo emsakazweni Ukhozi FM njalo ngoLwesine kusukela ngo9 kuya ku10 ebusuku. Ningangena ekhasini lethu lika Facebook elithi GoDigitalSA_movement noma kwi-YouTube uthi GoDigitalSA Foundation. Siyethemba nizolijabulela lolu hlelo oluhlose ukunifundisa futhi lulekelele kulokho enikufunda ezikoleni zenu. Luthokozeleni ke lolu hlelo nimeme nabo bonke abanye abafundi bebanga le-12 grade 12 ukuze nabo bazuze kulo futhi nonke nicijeleke ukuphumelela kwizivivinyo zenu zokuphela konyaka.
Morning, sanibonani bafundi ba grade 12. Umem Sibiyalo, doing English first additional language. Last week besi busy, so qhubeka umsebenzi besiwenza last week. Last week besenza paper 2, part of paper 2, and we were doing a poem to learn how to speak. Sishiye phakathi ke because of isikhathi. So namhlanje siyaqhubeka nayo siyayiqedela and we check the themes, the tones and all that. Bese siyaphendula mhlambe amanye ama questions. Right. Just to recap, ukhumbuzana nje about the poem. The poet here usitshela to learn how to speak. Lana ukhuluma ngama cultures, diversity of cultures. Ukuhlukana kwama cultures ethu la eSouth Africa nama languages futhi esiwakhulumayo ukuthi awafani. Sigcineke last week we were supposed to start befana siqale ku line 21. Mhlambe nje ukuze sikhumbuzane kahle ngizoyifunda nje again ipoem yonke then bese siqala ke kodwa so bese siqala ku line 21 ukuanalyze because besisaqhubeka si-analyze ke last week. Cela ukuyifunda ke and then bese sithi go on ke siqhubeke no-analysis. To learn how to speak. Sikhumbuzene futhi last week ukuthi to learn how to speak ine-ellipses, inalama 3 dots. Lama 3 dots. Lama 3 dots, i-ellipses ichaza ukuthini? Ichaza ukuthi something is ongoing. Iyaqhubeka. Akusho ukuthi khona amagama angashiwongo but aqhubekayo. To learn how to speak and then bese nale ellipses. Ake sifundeke ngokusheshsha bese siya ku line 21 sesiqala khona uku-analyze. To learn how to speak with the voices of the land. To pass the speech in its rivers. To catch in the inarticulate grunt, stammer, call, cry, babble, tongues knot, a sense of the stoniness of these stones, from which all words are cut. To trace where the tongue work on trails, saying the suffix of their aches in gale, barn, fontaine, in watery names that confirm the dryness of their ways. To visit the places of occlusion or the leak in a flay bank dawn. To bury my mouth in the pit of your arm, in that planetarium, pectoral beginning to the knob of time, down there close to the water table, To feel the full moon as it drums at the back of my throat. It's cow-skinned vowel. To write a poem with words like I'm telling you, stompy, stick fast, holoven, songololo, just, boom, bang. Just to understand the least inflections. To voice without swallowing. Syllables born in the shacks or catch the 5:15 5 Johannesburg train. To reach the low chant of the mine gang's mineral glow of our people's unbreakable resolve. To learn how to speak with the voices of this land. Okay, sitheke just to recap mhlambe ukukhumbuzana nababengekho last week ukuthi uline 1 no line 2 uyafana no line 32 and 33. The first two lines and last two lines ayafana. The only difference umehluko ukuthi uline 1 no 2 uthi to learn how to speak with the voices of the land. Line 2 the land. And then line 32 uthi uyafana no line 1 uthi to learn how to speak with the voices of this land. So sekune specification la, so specific ukuthi ukhuluma nga this land. Okay guys, sizoqala ke namhlanje lapha ku line 21. Uthi to write a poem with words like I'm telling you. To write a poem. Lana wenzani? What is he doing here? A poet. Lana introducer. He introduces. Introduces a list of typical South African languages. A list of typical South African languages. I'm telling you. I am telling you. I'm telling you. It's a slang that is used in South Africa. I'm telling you. It's a slang, okay? What is the poet doing here? He's pointing out our attention to the language. He points out at our attention to the language used by people he's trying to communicate with. Usikhombisa ukuthi abantu indlela abakhuluma ngayo ayifani. So he points out uyasikhombisa la our attention to the language used by people from that he's trying to communicate with. Usebenzisa amagama angayona English njengo stompy. Angithi stompy, it's an Afrikaans word. Stompy chaza ukuthini? It refers to a short person. Stompy in Afrikaans means a short person. Umuntu omfishane ngokwakhiwe means a short person. Ustompy futhi people that smoke cigarettes, abantu ababhemayo. Mase kusele lapha ezantsi la kwi-butts, cigarette butts lapha egcineni ukuthiwa that is also called a stompy. Cigarette butt esala umuntu mangabe ebhema. It's called a stompy, okay? That's an Afrikaans word. And then aphinde akhulume ngo stick fast. Stick fast. Stick fast yini? It's also an Afrikaans word. Yabona ngithi sithe la mawusukhumbula kahle. To learn how to speak. Ubale if ama-foreign trekkers when they came here to South Africa ukuthi babengayazi language, so okunye babeqamba ngamagama ama-rivers because isikhathi esiningi babehlale befuna amanzi from the land, and then amagama amaningi bayiqambela bona, and then bagcina ke sebezama ke sebeyifunda language. So stick fast la, it means ngesingisi to get stuck. If you get stuck, should you can't move, you get stuck. So it's an Afrikaans word nayo futhi. It's a direct translation from Afrikaans, stick fast, to get stuck, okay? Abese kuba khona futhi igama la ukholoven. Kholoven. It's also an Afrikaans word. What is a kholoven? Into efana nenqola. Inqola, it's a kholoven that was used in the mines. Nkathi abantu besebenza emayini iyenzani, it carries the rocks, iphatha amatshe, and also it also carries the people from underground. Angithi mabehla beshona phansi beyomba in the mines, iyabehlisa this kholoven, and also it also carries the rocks. Abese khuluma futhi ngosongololo. Usongololo is ishongololo, nina shongololo ngithi. Shongololo limnyama, it's a millipede leni nyawo iningi lelihamba so it's lana wenzani ufuna ukukhombisa ukuthi as the people go down behamba ngale kholoven. Angithi njoba you understand ukuthi lapha ephansi akukho straight, njoba ihamba nje khona amatshe underground, njoba beshona phansi beyomba. It's like ukuhamba njengeshongololo. Ishongololo alihambi libe straight, lihamba engazuthi lishona le emaceleni matana. That is why eyifanisa ne millipede. Songololo is a millipede. So uyifanisa nayo ke this kholoven as it goes underground, either carrying the stones or carrying the people from and up the ground. Ibathatha ibashonise ezansi noma futhi sebenyuka. And then aqhubeke, it says lapha line 24, just boom bang. Just boom bang, a bang, bang, umuntu mayishaya, it makes a noise, a quick noise. Just boom bang, it's something. He says just boom bang. So it's boom bang, that's something that happens quickly. Just boom bang, okay? And then he says just to understand the least inflections. Imaphi lama inflections akhuluma ngawo? Angithi lana kahle kahle asikhulumi ngamashongololo, asikhulumi ngamakholoven. We are talking, asibuyele emuva, sikhuluma ngani? To learn how to speak. Khuluma ngokuthi sikufunda kanjani ukukhuluma different languages from different cultures. So lana, these are just examples awanikayo. So ungalahlekelwa umqondo la ukuthi okay, i-poet has used so many words that are foreign. Ahlanganaphi no to learn how to speak? Ayahlangana phela, because njoba ethi just boom bang. Just to understand the least inflections. What are these inflections? Ama inflections, yuboma ukhuluma. Inflections means the change. Ma inflections, lawa khuluma ngawo, yini leyo? It is the change. I change yani in the form of a word. Uzama ukhuluma la. It's a change in the form of a word. I know, for instance, especially isiZulu, it has got a lot of clicks nesixhosa. Uyabona ama clicks uthola ukuthi with other cultures abanye they find it very difficult to pronounce these clicks or it becomes very difficult for them. So excuse me, ukhuluma ngama inflections, ukhuluma nge change in the form of a word. In the form of a word ending to express a grammatical function such as a tense or a mood. It could be a tense or the mood. Lana ke ufuna ukuthini la poet? Ufuna ukusitshela ukuthi in understanding mawuqhubeka la, he says to understand the least inflections, to voice without swallowing syllables born in the shakes. What is to swallow? Njoba ngenza manje I'm swallowing, ngiyagwinya. Okay, ugwinya in, ukhuluma ngani la? He says to understand the least inflections, to voice without swallowing syllables born in tin shakes. Uthini la poet? He's we are acknowledge la. Acknowledge in different dialects or different ways that people speak. Indlela esikhuluma ngayo ayifani. Yikho nje ethi to understand the least inflections as people speak. Indlela esikhuluma ngayo ayifani because we have our own way of speaking. Ukhuluma isiZulu mina. Umuntu okhuluma isiXhosa naye ukhuluma i-language yakhe. Umuntu okhuluma i-Afrikaans, so he says ukhuluma he's acknowledging uyavuma ukuthi thina in this South Africa lesiphila kuyona, we all have different dialects and we all have different languages that we speak. Angithi, okay. Masibheka lapha at line 28. Uthi the 5:15 quarter past 5. Ukwata ubhalwe ngesiZulu. I-quarter past 5. Yini le i-quarter past 5? It's a time reference. It's a time reference. Kukhulunywa ngani? Ngesikhathi. I-quarter past 5 usho ukuthini? 5:15. Ngesi nje, it's quarter past 5. I-quarter past 5. So it's 5:15. What is this 5:15? Ikhuluma ngeJohannesburg. Akasho ukuthi Johannesburg. Johannesburg train. Johannesburg lo, it shows ukuthi this word is foreign. Akakwazi ukuthi Johannesburg. He says Johannesburg train. It indicates the time when people go to work. Lo 5:15, it is the time when people go to work. When people go to work. It could also be 5:15 mama when people come back from work, because akash uthi nje i-quarter past 5. It could be the 5:15 in the morning or 5:15 in the afternoon when people come back from work. Masebebuya emsebenzini or 5:15 wasekuseni mabesaya emsebenzini. Kodwa manje lo Johannesburg umele in. Lo Johannesburg train is talking about Johannesburg train. Shuthi labantu njengoba bemsebenzini, i means of transport abayisebenzisayo is basebenzisa istimela. Johannesburg train. So lo Johannesburg indlela abakhuluma ngayo, it's difficult for them to pronounce. So abakwazi ukuthi Johannesburg bathi Johannesburg train. Okay. And then siya lapha ku line 30. Line 30 uthi the low chant of the mine gangs, mineral glow of our people's unbreakable resolve. Okay. Angithi abantu mabe emayini bayacula. Baba nezaga bayiculayo. Uma ikhuluma ngechant, when you chant usuke mhlambe bavuma ingoma ethize. So it's a group of miners. Khuluma ngegang. He says uthi lapha the low chant of the mine gangs, mineral glow. Bayehla bagibelele eHolovena, ngithi yakhumbula, bayehla bashone ezantsi. As beshone ezantsi bavuma isakhe esithile or ingoma ethize. Leyo ke the chant, when he talks about the chants, chants ukhuluma ngama this group of miners. Laba bayehla bashone ezantsi. Usually abantu ababesebenza emayini then ngaleso sikhathi kwama males. There were no females. So that is why he talks about the low chant of the mine gangs. Njoba behla bayacula as they go underground to work. Njoba behla bayezantsi bayosebenza, they are chanting to chant ucula, but bavuma ingoma yabo siyazi ukuthi babethini. Okay. And then he says line 31, mineral glow of our people's unbreakable resolve. Unbreakable resolve. If something is unbreakable, leonto isuke iqinile. So ukhuluma ngane la unbreakable resolve. Ukhuluma determination. Uyakwazi ukuba determined ukuthi hayi mina ngeke into ethile nje ngeke izingihlule. Determination, ukuba determined, ukuyimisela. He is talking about the determination of the black people here in South Africa. And when they were striving for freedom, during the apartheid years. Ngakhumbula ngathi kusesikhathi apartheid bantu base South Africa, especially the black people, babe feel ukuthi they are being oppressed. So he's talking about the njoba ethi their unbreakable resolve. Shuthi babe into eyodwa ukuthi they are determined ukuthi noma kuthiwa sicindezelwe but sizoma as abantu abamnyama. So lana okhuluma it could also refer kungaba abantu abamnyama. Angithi lana sikhuluma ngeSouth Africa, la eSouth Africa ephila different cultures, different languages. It could be ukhuluma ngalabo abantu abamnyama ngesikhathi apartheid era, or it could also refer to the unwillingness abantu abamhlophe ke manje, to the unwillingness of the white people ukwenzani to learn the black language during the apartheid years. Babethi abantu abamhlophe ngeke sifunde thina language abantu abamnyama. Also it could be the unwillingness yabantu ke manje of the black people nabo ukuthi benze njani, of the black people to speak the white man's language during the apartheid years. And then ngaleso sikhathi ke that white man's language was Afrikaans. Kwazi wagcina sekunama riots, you remember 1976 riots, kuqalo Sarafina and all niyas. So lana ke le determination it works in both ways. It could be a reference to the black or white, abantu abamnyama or abantu abamhlophe, laba bethi thina sizokhuluma language yethu, nalaba bethi nathi ke sifunde yena, nalaba bethi nathi eyena sifunde. Uyabona that's determination, that's the resolve. It could work both ways. And then in line 32 to 33 he says to learn how to speak with the voices of this land. Now angithi yabona ukuthi say the refrain lapha line 1 and 2, to learn how to speak with the voices of the land. And then the line 32, 33, to learn how to speak with the voices of this land. Use specific manje. This land meaning the function, refrain emphasizes certain points or idea. Desire to learn different languages. The land changes into this land. This land, you say specific. Who is talking about this land, which is this land? This land, which is South Africa. Okay. Pelegi poem. And then we have to look at the themes. What are the themes ale poem? Right. Eyokuqala nje i-theme. It is the understanding and the appreciation of the language. Eyokuqala, it's understanding the language. Ufanele uyifunde. It's the understanding of the language, and then most you understand that, and then you appreciate. Shuthi uyayithanda. Understanding and the appreciation of the language. Okay, that is a theme. Lana imaphi lama understanding. Lana sikhuluma nge-speaker. The speaker wenzani? He points out, uyasikhombisa one, he points out the struggle, ubunzima ahlangabezana nabo, the struggle to learn this language. His struggle, yena qala, his struggle to learn the languages of the other people, to learn the languages of the other people here in South Africa, of the other people here in South Africa. Ukhuluma ngobunzima ahlangabezana nabo as he learns the language of the other people in South Africa. Aphinde futhi abheke the need. Isidingo ke manje. What need? The need to understand one another. Ukuthi thina ke njengoba sikhuluma different languages, siyezwana yini? Lento esikhuluma ngayo siyayizwa yini? Aphinde futhi emphasize in the difficulty. Ubunzima ke manje bani the difficulty of people that people have to undergo mabenzani in trying to understand other people's languages. Those are the themes. Points out the struggle to learn the language and also the difficulty that people have to undergo in trying ukufunda and understand other people's languages. Khona kunjalo kunzima kunjalo understand, and then abesekhuluma nge-celebration of the uniqueness. Uniqueness ngithe wonke umuntu unique and each language is unique, ayikho efana nenye. So celebration of the uniqueness of the language. Lana uniqueness of the language khuluma nge-diversity yani of that's used in this land and nowhere else. Diversity that is used in this land. This land yakuphi? Yase South Africa. Okay, lana masikhuluma nge celebration of the diversity in South Africa. Masikhuluma nge diversity in South Africa. Usikhuluma ngani? Diversity of the different cultures and different languages in South Africa. La abantu as people move, move from one place to another. As people move, they move with their language. We are move ala ukhuluma isiZulu. You move with the language, and then you move to another place. You meet different people. They speak a different language. Now sekufanele wenze njani? Uyifunde le language. In as much as fanele uyifunde le yabo, nabo in return fanele benze njani? Bafunde le eyakho ukuze nizwane phela manenze njani? Manikhuluma. Okay, bese kukhuluma futhi ngama journeys in history. When our ancestors they migrated, ma blacks, nama whites, they migrated in groups. Move they move to different places, and as they move, and different places or different countries, as they move, they speak their language. So lapha sekunani celebration of the diversity of cultures as you move. So kwenzekani la? Lana there is an extended metaphor. Angithi ngithe to learn how to speak. It's progression. Kuyaqhubeka. So there is an extended metaphor. Extended metaphor kanjani? Kuyaqhubeka ngithi. Extended metaphor. Extended metaphor to learn how to speak. Extended metaphor kanjani? Progression. It's kombisana. It shows that all it's extended metaphor. It shows that all water sources are connected even if you can't see them in the same way. Sithe lana poet isebenzisa kakhulu izinto ezi-natural. Ukhulume nge-water, ama-rivers, wakhuluma nge-land, wakhuluma ngama-stones. Uyabona ukusebenzisa izinto ezi-natural, that's as a nature. La extended metaphor ukhombisana la to show us ukuthini ufuna ukusikhombisa ukuthi in one way or another lezi zinto zi-connected kanjani. Thina as South Africans, thina as abantu abaphila la eSouth Africa, as a community, even though we are from different cultural backgrounds, siqhamuka kuma-cultural backgrounds ahlukene, angithi, as human beings, kodwa sonke we are part of a journey. We are part of a journey. Part of a journey kanjani? I-journey ye-cycle. I-cycle yani yama-natural elements. Yini ama-natural elements? Lawa kade ngwabala. The stones, the water, the land. So it's an extended metaphor. Usifanise nezinto ama-natural elements as we move. Njoba sisuka from one place to the other, and njoba simove from one place to the other, still nakhona sisenze njani? We are moving with our language. Sihamba ne-language yethu, sihamba ne-culture yethu, nema-stones nawo kanjani. Angithi manje it's like kune-connection between the two. And then bese siya kwi-tone, the tone and the mood of the poem. The tone and the mood of the poem. Okay. I-tone injani? Uyambona lo muntu ukuthi njobe ekhuluma how to learn how to speak ukuthi akukho is It's not easy for him, and it's not even easy for us ukuthi sifunde language change. So into mangabe ingekho easy kuhlukumeza, there is an element yani ye frustration. There is a frustration la, because you are learning a new language. There is an element of confusion. Uyadideka awazi but kodwa kusala ufanele uyifunde ilanguage. There is an element of uncertainty. Awukho sure noma leli gama ngilisho ngendlela right or in. There's frustration, there's confusion, there's uncertainty. Ukuthi right yini. And also but lapha bese kuthi lapha ku line 33 kune element of pride ke lapha. When he says, with the voices of this land, this our South Africa. So this land, gune tone lapha as well, yani, ye pride. He's proud of being a South African. He's proud of being part of this land. Okay. Asibheka amagama wasebenzisini njengoba ngithe usikhuluma kakhulu ngama natural elements. La ukhulume like ku line 1 to 12. Yeah, khona la khona khona to lick. Ukhulume ngo lick, wakhuluma ngo flay. Line 12 and 13 he says to visit the places of occlusion or the lick in a flay bank dawn. To lick. Okay. In a flay bank dawn. To lick quarter it. Right. But la salt, it is talking about the salt. Usawut, the salt lick. The salt lick is a deposit of angithi nkathi ene amatshe shayana kwenzeka le element yenzeka and all that ugcina sekwakheka erosion. Nkathi kwenzeka this erosion uthe the salt lick is a deposit of mineral. It's a deposit of mineral salts or animals. Or animals that's used to supplement their nutrition. Lezinto abazidlayo. So lana ama farmers usually abantu abanenkomo or abafuyile. Yes, ama farmers afuyile ke kodwa imfuyo. They use this. Many farmers use they use this salt lick for their mineral lick of the tongue. So they use these natural elements for their animals ukuthi zidle ukuze zikwazi. So lana kune connection la. Njoba isikhathi esiningi uzodideka ukuthi wasengitshela ngama natural elements, wangitshela ngama farmers where the animals they lick. But kuhlanganaphi ne language? Lana ufuna ukukhombisana. Aphinde futhi akhulume line 14 to 15. He talks about to bury my mouth in the pits of your arm. Ipits armpit ikhwapha. He says to bury my mouth in the pits of your arm in that planetarium. Kuhlanganaphi futhi lokho ne language. Armpit is khombisana. It reminds us, or it reminds the speaker of a planetarium which is also dome shaped. It's a planetarium in a flat that is dome shaped. Lana yini kahle kahle. Lana it dome shaped. It's when he speaks. Angithi uyakhuluma. He speaks. He says, to bury my mouth in the pit of your arm, in that planetarium, pectoral beginning of the nub of town, down there close to the water table. Down there close to the water table to feel the moon, the full moon as it drums. Okay. Can the land speak? Joba eti to bury my arm. Land ingakhuluma yini? Iyakhuluma land iyakhuluma? No, ayikhulumi. So iyiphi figure of speech asetshenziswe lapha? It is personification. Yini personification? Ukwenza sa muntu, because the land cannot speak. Ayikwazi ukukhuluma land. Voices of the land. The land cannot speak. Chaza ukuthini pho lokho? What does that mean? It means that ufuna ukwenzani la, the poet, he wants to understand the people who live there and their languages. Uzama ukuthola abantu to understand abantu abahlala la to this land and also their languages. And then when he says voices, my voices, he refers to the different cultures and also their different backgrounds. It's cultures and also backgrounds. Okay. And then kukhona futhi nama i-metaphor. Angithi personification lapha. Personification sithola ku-line 2. Line 2 angithi la sifuna amalokhuzana. Line 2 la when it talks about the voices of the land. The land cannot speak. Voices of the land. The land cannot speak. Personification la. And then also kunama metaphors. I guess wabheka. Akuphi ama metaphors. Eyokuqala nje metaphors ithola lapha ku line 3. Uthini line 3? To pass the speech in its rivers. To pass the speech in its rivers. That's a metaphor. The people, the words that flow from the mouth when the people are speaking. Kufana like the flow of the river. Last week it's like the flow of the river as a man's hamba, and when the people speak, so that is a metaphor. Sipinde futhi there so in metaphor sithola lapha ku line 3. Sipinde futhi sithole I metaphor ku line 5. Ake suphe ku line 5. Stammer, call, cry, babble, tongues not. Ilana ukhuluma ngani is talking about the difficulty. When you untie the knot, when you untie the knot, that is a metaphor. Ukhuluma nge difficult to untie the knot. Kahle akhuluma nge knot, ukhuluma ngani nge difficulty when you learn a new language and it talk about the trace of the tongue as it moves up and down. Was wayifanisa nama work on trails, okay? And then also sayithola futhi in metaphor ku line 8. Uthini line 8? To trace with the tongue, work on trails. That is another metaphor. To trace with the tongue, work on trail. Njoba ngikhuluma nje the tongue is moving up and down like a work on trail. The trail that the work on leaves. Mangabe ihamba ngithe ngathi ihlale ishiya ama marks. Lapho also it is another metaphor. Lana it is a movement of the tongue in the mouth. It's compared to the marks that the work on trails leave to the ground as ihamba inqola. Okay. And then lapha ku line 10 and 11 in watery names that confirm the dryness of their ways. Line 10 to 11 ukhulume ngo watery names that confirm the dryness of their ways. That is also another metaphor. Line 10 to 11. Enye futhi and 10 to 15. And then line 14 to 15, he says, to bury my mouth in the pit of your arm. That is another metaphor. To bury my mouth in the pit of your arm. Burying your mouth in the pit of your arm. That is also another metaphor. He's comparing a planetarium as they are both dome-shaped. Planetarium, as the planetarium is to bury my mouth at the pit of your arm. It's also dome-shaped. That is also another metaphor. Then line 20. Let's look at line 20. It's cow-skinned vowel. Line 20 is also another metaphor. It's cow-skinned vowel. Yenzani le metaphor la? It compares. Ikathanisa the cowhide is kumba ngithi drum neyazi drum lesishayayo thina when we beat the drum yenziwe ngesikhumba. So wenzani la? He's comparing the cowhide and the drum of African cultures with a vowel formed at the back of the throat. He says the cow-skinned vowel. So as you beat the drum and the noise that comes from your throat, the words that are formed amagama as you speak is different in various languages and cultures. It's like the beating of the drum. Each drum shaya is to indicator a different sound, a different message. And also as you speak, from your throat, the vowels that come at the back of your throat, they give different sounds for different languages as well. And then line 31, it talks about the mineral glow of our people's unbreakable resolve. Githe lapha unbreakable resolve ukhuluma ngedetermination, the determination of the way the people speak, a sense of stoniness of he's comparing to the wealth and the determination yabantu that they but no thina sokhuluma language ngeke sifunde yalaba nalabo abanye bathi no sizokhuluma yethu ngeke sifunde yalaba. So there is that determination, there is mineral, but again ukhuluma nge-mineral glow, we back to the mineral elements lawo awasebenzisayo kodwa ebekhuluma ngani nge-determination abantu, their unbreakable resolve ukuthi ngeke siye sikhulume yabo nalabo bathi ngeke siye sikhulume yabo. And then lapha sithola futhi alliteration, it's in line 16. Let's go back to line 16. It says a sense, no, it's not line 6, it's line 6. A sense of the stoniness of these stones. Alliteration. In alliteration is the repetition of the same consonant sound. Pinda is sound the consonant. Yipi sound the pinda lapho S. A sense of the S stoniness of these stones. Sayithola ke lapho alliteration line 6. And then also line 8 to 9 ikhona futhi alliteration. So it's line 6. It's line 6 and then line 8 to 9. He says to trace with T with the tongue. Work on trails. There's a repetition of the same consonant sound, which is with T. Saying, okay, right. Okay. Now, bakunike la a question. Questions that you have to answer concerning the it's a small activity. Ofanele uphendule. Ithini ke into yakhona ithi now fanele uphenduleke. Ma uphendula bheka again ukuthi uphendula according to what is needed ukuthi ungamoshi isikhathi. Like activity lo abanike wona la bathe read the poem to learn how to speak and answer the questions below. Right. We are complete la. They gave you a passage where we have to complete. We complete by filling in. We are gcwalisa ufake igama correct. So ubhale number, ubhale letter. If it's A, ubhale A ukuthi le answer. If it's B, ubhale B ukuthi le answer. If it's C, ubhale C ukuthi le answer. Right. Question 18. Complete the following sentences by filling in the missing words. Write only the word next to the question. Okay. Siyazi ukuthi le poem sithe ngathi siqala sathi it's a free verse. Ayinawo ama stanzas angithi. It's just a free verse. There are no stanzas, right? Ithi ke question. This poem bakunike ke amagama ozogcwalisela ngawo awu 6. There is free verse 1, there is ballad ama answer akho lawo 2, there is sonnet 3, length 4, length 5, and then 6 no rhyme, and then 7 progress. Okay, gcwalisa ke la kuno A, no B, no C. O A uthi uthi this poem is an example of A, uyagcwalisa lapho uzobe usuyasho ukuthi of what the poet wants to learn the language of that is B, and also celebrates the of South Africa. The what of South Africa. Right. Okay. I guess ibheke la. Ake sigcwaliseke. Number 1 uthi the poem. Let's look at number 1 uthini? Uthi number 1 the poem is an example of what? Khetha kulawa magama ngaphezulu. U A wakho, it is an example of what? The poem is an example of a free verse. Angit, because I know my stanzas. So A wako is a free verse. And then B, the poet wants to learn the language of what? The poet wants to learn the language of it is to learn how to speak with the voices of the land. So the answer yakho lapha, it is uland, B. And then usi, uti, and also celebrates the what? And also celebrates the what? Celebrates the progress of South Africa. Progress. In tech, there is a progression here. So usi wako, it is the progress. Lama gamage la opendula awathathe moyeni akhona lapha kwi passage. You just have to fit in the correct way depend. Let's go to question 2. Question 2 to refer to line 1 and 2. Line 1 and 2 to learn how to speak with the voices of the land. Okay. Give a reason why the following statement is false. Yindaba le statement singelona iqiniso. Pass line 3. Line 3 upass uthini? To pass the speech in its rivers. Okay. But again, why is this not true? Pass line 3 describes how quickly or fast something happens. Igama esisebenzise lapho quickly and how fast something happens sebenzisa igama ubani boom bang. Yakhumbula? Boom bang. But yini to pass. So the answer it is false. Yes. It's true, it is false. Because to pass doesn't mean something that happens quickly. Something that happens quickly, boom bang, into yenzeka ngokusheshsha. But upass uchaza ukuthini? Uzobe usuyachaza ke wena. Ngoba kuthiwa give a reason. Nika isizathu ukuthi yini indaba leli sentence li false. Uzobe usuyachaza ke wena ukuthi upass awuchazi into equick. But upass uchaza ukuthini? Upass uchaza the way where it means the way the words are divided into syllables. Ukuthi amagama ahlukaniswe kanjani into syllables. So ufalse ke la because awusho leyo nto ubumbeng osho okusheshayo. Right. Let's go to line 3. Question 3 I mean. Question 3 would refer to lines 3 to 4. Let's look at lines 3 to 4. To pass the speech in its rivers. To catch in the inarticulate grant. Right. Bese bethi ke lana bafuna wenzeni la? They want you to choose the correct answer. Khetha i-answer right, correct. Choose the correct answer. Write only. Bhala only the letter A to D next to the questions and then write. Uthi 6.3. Unama options are 4. There is A, there is B, there is C, there is D. A uthi glance at, ubheka nje uthi jab. B uthi pull down, donsa. C uthi break down, uyahlephula. And then D uthi put together, uyaqoqa. Right. Ithi ke into, question ithi, choose the correct answer to complete the following sentence. The word pass, bese sichazile ngendle, means the same as sitheni. The word pass means the same as, so i-answer lapha uC, to break down. Sithe, it means to break down ama words into syllables. So i-answer lapha ka number 3 uC, to break down. Yeah, siqhubeke. Question 4. Uthi refer to lines 5 to 7. Let's look at line 5 to 7. Line 5 to 7 uthi stammer, call, cry, babble, tongues knot, a sense of the stoniness of these stones from which all words are cut. Right. Refer to lines 5 to 7. Kuthiwa kokuqala nje u-A wakho, identify the tone that is used in this line. Sitheke i-tone esisichazile vele kade sisho manje. Sithe there is a tone, there is confusion, ukudideka, You can say there's a tone of uncertainty. Ungabi sure ukuthi lento right noma wrong yini. Sathi futhi can be a tone of frustration because learning a new language is frustrating. Or there is a tone of incomprehension. You incomprehend, awukwazi ukubamba kahle. So any of those, you can use any of those. You can say confusion or uncertainty or frustration or incomprehension. Akakwazi ukucomprehenda kahle, akakwazi ukubamba kahle ukuthi ilanguage ithini. Any of those is correct. And then you go bathi bethi uB. uB uthi, why would the speaker use this tone in this line? Why would the speaker use this tone? Usebenziselani le tone? Uzobe usuyaphendula ke wena ke. Usuyayazi i-tone ukuthi is frustration nanani. Uzobe uyasho ukuthi he uses this tone to indicate, ufuna ukukhombisa la. To indicate that the speaker is experiencing difficulty with speech. Ukhombisa indlela okunzima ngayo ukwenze njani ukukhuluma this language. Right. Then we move on to the next question, which is number 5. Refer to line 3. Line 3 uthini? Line 3 uthi to pass the speech in its reverse. Okay. Question is, refer to line 3 to pass the speech in its reverse. A uthi identify the figure of speech used in this line. Yiphi figure of speech esetshenzisiwe la kule line? It is personification, or it can also be a metaphor. Personification ingaba futhi a metaphor. Okay. And then bese bethi explain. So identify what is personification noma what is metaphor. Base bethi explain. Chaza ke manje. Explain why this figure of speech is relevant in this poem. Yabona ukuthi nalabo bathi chaza ukuthi okay so identify ile ichaze ukuthi relevant ifitha ngani yini oyenza ubone ukuthi iyafitha mawuthi personification yenza samuntu to pass the speech in its reverse. Irrelevant ngani? Can say personification, it is relevant because the land is said to have a voice. To pass the speech in its reverse. Lana the land yenziwe sengathi land inani in a voice. The land is said to have a voice with which it speaks. Can the land speak? No, khuluma land. No. So yenziwe as if it has got a voice. So uzobusuchaza lapho ukuthi why is it relevant in the poem? Zoshuthi the land cannot speak. Right. Moving on to the next question. But explain the difference. Chaza-ke manje ini umehluko between the first 2 lines and the last 2 lines of the poem. First 2 lines, to learn how to speak with the voices of the land. The refrain uqala. To lines 32, 33 says to learn how to speak with the voices of this land. There is the land, line 2, and line 33, this land. Kuthiwa-ke lana-ke, chaza umehluko. What is the difference between the first 2 lines and the last 2 lines of the poem? Yini umehluko? Okay, umehluko uthi the first 2 lines, to learn how to speak with the voices of the land. First 2 lines, emphasize in, ufuna ukugcizelela the need, isidingo sani, the need to understand one another language. Ukuthi umuntu nomuntu afunde i-language njoba ethi the land. And then last 2 lines, uhluke ngani ke wona? The last 2 lines usethi to learn how to speak with the voices of this land. So usehluka ngokuthi in the last 2 lines sekunomehluko lapho kuno first 2 lines. In the last 2 lines the speaker is more specific. Usiyachaza manje ukuthi which land is he talking about? He says this land, which is South Africa, which is our South Africa, this land. Okay, the last question. Do you think the poem to learn how to speak is still relevant today? Lana mawufunda le poem usuyifundile waqeda ngayo. Mawuyibheka to learn how to speak. Is it relevant today? Like manje in this century as we are in 2020. Irrelevant yini? Lana ke again ama marks out 3. There is no right or wrong answer. If wena uthi yes, it is relevant. Uzonika reason. It is relevant because of 1, 2, 3. Uma uthi no, it is not relevant. Ayihlanga nje lento abakhuluma ngayo nalese namanje like today. Uzochaza futhi uthi I know ayikho relevant because of 1, 2, 3. Ake nginike example nje la. Mawuthi because lana the question is open-ended. There is no right or wrong answer. If uthi yeah, it is relevant. Chaza ukuthi relevant kanjani. Mhlawumbe ungathi yeah, irrelevant. Because angithi manje sesiphila ku democratic South Africa. La sesinamalungelo ethu. Ungathi yes, irrelevant because in this democratic era la esesiphila kuyona, which is ama languages mangaki konje yakhumbula official languages South Africa mangaki 12. So ungasho ukuthi yeah, irrelevant because in this democratic South Africa sesiphila kuyona where there are different languages 12. Ungasho ukuthi i-poet yenze njani? I-addressa angithi uphinde wasebenzisa u-Afrikaans most okay no pan no fontaine usebenzise most ama-Afrikaans words. So wasebenzisa futhi ama-English words and isiZulu words that are spoken here in South Africa. So ungasho relevant because iwafakile wonke. There is Afrikaans, kukhona quarter past 5 isiZulu, Johannesburg, there is also a little bit of Xhosa. So ungasho ukuthi yeah, irrelevant in this democratic South Africa of 12 languages. Or you can say no, it does not. Because it's a question, do you think the poem is relevant today? Would you say no, it is not relevant. Why? Because South Africa languages are official mangaka 12. But la usebenzisa mangaki? Only 4. So show anja mhlambe 4. There's English, there's Afrikaans, there's Xhosa, there's Zulu. So ungasho ukuthi no, it does not talk about all the languages. Ukhethe only those 4. So is it relevant today? No, it's not, because today we have all these languages that we speak. As long as, especially, and usually the questions in the last question, and then usually it is open-ended. When mawuphendula, there is no right or wrong answer. Indaba isekutheni, are you able to support your view? Yes, because of this and this, or no, because of this and this. Uyachaza ukuthi hayi ngiyavuma or angivumi. Ngiyavuma ngoba kuguthi nokuthi. Or angivumi because kuguthi nokuthi. Uyawathola ama marks for lokho. Okunye again mawuphendula ama questions. If kuthiwa bhala igama elilodwa, bhala i-question ubhala igama. Yenza njalo uma usulokhu uchaza indaba ende because isikhathi siyahamba, isikhathi sifishane. Phendula lokho abakufunayo and then usuqedile nge-question, you move on to the next, and then usuwathola ama marks akho, you are done with the paper. I wish you all the best. We've come to the end of i-lesson. Sesifike ekugcineni kwesifundo sanamhlanje. I hope nisithokozele. Until next time when we meet. All the best. Siyabonga kakhulu. Thank you.
Siyathemba nifunde kahle nasithokozela isifundo sethu sanamhlanje. Enisethulelwe ngezidlokotho ezinhle iThala libambisene neGoDigitalSA Foundation. Thamelani ke futhi esilandelayo ngesikhathi sifanayo. Ningakhohlwa ukumema nabanye abafundi bebanga le-12 ukuze nabo basizakale kulolu hlelo. Uma ninemibuzo noma nifisa ukuxhumana nathi, ningasithinta ngokufaka imibuzo yenu kwinombolo yethu ye-WhatsApp ethi 068 151 1072. Mfundi, ungakhohlwa ukubhala isifundo obuza ngaso ngaphambi kokubhala umbuzo wakho. Angiyiphinde inamba yethu 068 151 1072. Siyabonga.